She's tried to upstage William. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. What's Prince William up to? Well, I'll tell you. He's in New York, and he's been there to announce the 15 finalists for the Earthshot Prize, amongst other matters. He met with Prince Albert of Monaco and former Microsoft CEO Bill Gates as they joined forces at the Earthshot Summit. He met with these people and headed on stage to announce the Earthshot winners and revealed that he started his day by going for a run in Central Park and that the pandemic and the Queen's death delayed him going to the Big Apple sooner. Big Willie Stiley announced, "I decided to join the hordes of New Yorkers doing their morning routine in Central Park. It was wonderful waking up in Central Park on a Sunday morning rather than the rain we had yesterday," he explained. "It was beautiful getting some fresh air and it's wonderful being getting back." He explained it was 2014 was the last time that he had been in New York and he'd been trying to come back, but with COVID and his grandmother passing away, it meant he hadn't been able to do so. After he announced the winners of the Earthshot Prize, he went to a fire station to meet with first responders. He wasn't there with the Princess of Wales, Catherine. She was visiting a youth centre in East London. The King, or the future King, is there to attend meetings and events linked to the Earthshot Prize and learn how New York is tackling environmental issues. He's meeting with leaders at the United Nations. He also met Prince Albert of Monaco, who is there with his own charity to tackle climate change. The Prince of Wales began his 2-day US visit in dramatic style, crossing the Hudson River with the Manhattan skyline in the background. He arrived from the United Kingdom on a commercial flight and travelled straight to Governor's Island to meet students, volunteers and restaurateurs involved in the Billion Oyster Project, a unique initiative to restore oyster beds in the New York harbour. He stood in the bow of the boat with Pete Malinowski, co-founder and the executive director of the Billion Oyster Project, as it travelled to the outcrop at the centre of the operation. During his visit, William will promote his Earthshot Prize, which aims to celebrate and scale up solutions to repair the planet, and announce the 2023 finalists. Later, he will sit down for talks with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres as the 78th session of the UN General Assembly begins. A Kensington Palace spokesman said, "The Prince is very much looking forward to seeing the Secretary-General, and they are expected to speak about climate change and the environment, as well as the innovative solutions that the Earthshot Prize is cultivating around the world." The first stop for William will be the Hatchery Centre for fledgling oysters, and he'll tour a group of tanks where the next generation is being matured. He'll also meet a group of high school students who are volunteering and learning about the project to restock the oyster population, with larvae relocated to a nursery made from discarded and cleaned oyster shells from 75 New York seafood restaurants. Earlier, William had praised Ecuador for the crucial work the nation is doing in the battle against climate change as he met President Guillermo Lasso Mendoza ahead of unveiling this year's Earthshot Prize finalists on his solo trip to New York. He confidently strode into the bilateral meeting, beaming as he walked past an Andy Warhol print of his late grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. He was seen shaking hands with President Lasso before they sat down together at the British Consul General's official residence at 50 UN Plaza, overlooking the UN building. His engagements coincide with Climate Week in New York and the 78th UN General Assembly, where nearly 200 countries are meeting. Although Prince William will not address the Assembly, he met UN Chief Antonio Guterres in New York on Monday. He's hosting business leaders, climate activists and policymakers, with those present including UN Special Climate Envoy Michael Bloomberg, former New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates. So Big Willie Stiley is larging it in New York. He's not treating us to various extravagant outfit changes, nor is he wandering around with a rictus grin. He's getting out and amongst people, talking to them, and behaving as the normal that he is, engaging, undertaking serious work, and doing so by wanting to, of course, obtain publicity, but not for him, but for the causes that he's there to represent. Naturally, this is all fantastic publicity for Prince William, but it isn't so good for Harry's wife. She would love to be there, chatting to people with the UN. She would want to be getting the photo opportunities, involved in being seen with some young people, undertaking the Billion Oyster Project. And the fact that William is in the United States, deemed to be her country, that he's in New York, that he's gaining attention, is a problem for Harry's wife. As a narcissist, she cannot stand the attention, fuel, going elsewhere. The knowledge that Prince William, who of course is married to the nemesis, which brings the nemesis onto the radar of Harry's wife, the knowledge that Prince William is doing things is problematic for her. Not only is he the one that got away because she believes that she should be Mrs. William, and it's also a problem because he's married to the nemesis, which means that it brings onto Harry's wife's radar somebody who's painted black and threatens her sense of control. And the fact that William is the one that's garnering all of this attention for what he's doing also threatens Harry's wife's sense of control. And therefore, her narcissism, were it alive, would be shouting and screaming at her, "Fucking do something!" And so she does. And with typical Harry's wife's behaviour, she pops up and she attends some charitable outfit, which is a good cause. It's reported that Harry's wife grabs coffee for a cause before leaving Germany. This just happens to be placed in various publications, Vanity Fair being the one that I'm reading from, but it appears in others, yesterday, around the time that William has appeared in New York, and that's being reported on. Coincidence? Of course not. But interestingly, Vanity Fair reports before bidding Germany auf Wiedersehen after her Invictus Games trip with Prince Harry, Harry's wife grabbed a quick cup of coffee. She wasn't just at Treib Cafe in Dusseldorf for a caffeinated pick-me-up, though that never hurts to be honest. She was also there for a good cause. The cafe is actually an organisation that benefits its community, with a special emphasis on unhoused women and children. According to a fundraising website, the cafe gives the women a safe place to clean up, as well as shelter, advice, and more. The cafe shared photos of Harry's wife with some of its other patrons in their Instagram story. A representative for the cafe told people that the Duchess of Sussex made her surprise visit to the group last week on September the 13th. The young women were very surprised by the visit and the fact that a celebrity takes time to talk to them, the rep said. The Duchess also joined in preparing lunch for the young women and their children. She was very open and approachable, and we're very thankful that we had the opportunity to welcome her. Accordingly, Harry's wife pretends that she cares because, as you know, she has no emotional empathy and therefore she is incapable of actually caring. But she does it as another photo opportunity. It's done for the purposes of asserting control over the people there and also wider by way of the audience. But she was there on the 13th of September. That was a week ago. So why didn't we have news about it then? Well, no. It was being kept up her sleeve so that she could drop it at another stage. And of course, she's attempting to upstage William because she cannot let anybody else be in the limelight. She cannot stand for that to be the case. And therefore she seeks to upstage him by having released, 6 days later, news about her attendance where she pretends to care and looks in desperate need of an iron. How somebody manages to wear such wrinkled clothing without noticing, well, it can only be that they're deluded. But this isn't about the fact that she turns up looking like an old grey elephant. It's actually, in fact, about the point that she once again attempts to upstage somebody. She's done this so many times before, and this time she's trying to do it with William. Not only is it blatantly obvious that this is what she's doing, why otherwise would you delay for 6 days before releasing news about you pretending to care? It also doesn't work. Indeed, it's so transparent that the Daily Mail leads with an article, "Photos emerge of Harry's wife's surprise visit to a Dusseldorf cafe for homeless women as William touches down in New York. Her behaviour is blatant, and the attempts to manage the facade and assert control through pretending to care, when in actual fact what she's trying to do is wrestle attention onto her and away from William, is not only transparent and pathetic, but it single-handedly fails. Of course, people will comment about her, but it is done adversely, and it's yet again another opportunity for people to roll their eyes at her behaviour and to see just how desperate she is and how she cannot stand for anybody else to be in the limelight. The typical behaviour of a narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.